I'm a poet and a creative type. That's my main focus. I have a bachelor's degree in English, technical communication, because I really understand the method that language uses to communicate information itself. That's the essence of reality. When you understand how information travels within a sphere, when you understand the dimensional properties of truth values or false values, that's the core of philosophy. That's what they're really looking for. So that's what I excel at, and I use English as a vehicle for that. I just express myself intuitively to understand the inner essence and machinations of my own mind, to understand the complexities that arise from simplicities. That's the main idea of what I focus on and meditate on when I think about when species understand themselves. A species understands itself and communicates that to the environment. It communicates, back off, I'm a threat in this way. It says, this is what I think is a threat. When a bee has a stinger, that's a pledge that it's making, that it won't do any harm unless it's to protect the hive. That's what the bee is saying in bee language. I understand the language between species because I understand purpose and desire as a sort of dual bonded structure. Purpose and desire is a dual bonded structure. I dropped my pen. I take good notes about it. Really, this was inspired by a conversation with the MGTOW movement member, because he was trying to explain the MGTOW movement. And I'm good with language, so I understood what he was talking about, but it was in the form of a YouTube comment. And YouTube comments are basically the public forum. Every society had a forum. Every society had a collective of ideas expressed in human form. Every society has a forum of canon of literature that gets, or a canon of understanding of reality that gets expressed through ideas and tropes and archetypes. And we all go on a journey to explore these character traits and to explore these ideas and traits. And we come to identity crisis issues. We come to really existential issues. What am I? Who am I? Every species goes through that because every species exists. That's just a fact of language. Language locks that preposition into place. When we say that that's a meaningful statement about reality, when we say that stinger has a purpose, when we say that sentence and assign any truth value to it, we are understanding the stinger relative to what the bee wants to do in the environment with relationship to its own resources and identity. So the bee understands itself relative to its queen and to its social structure, to relative to bees in general. Because we don't ever really say aesthetically that bees have a purpose unless we want to get religious with it. Bees get painted into the picture on screen as necessary protectors of the environment because they just protect their little colony and they make sweets for the neighborhood. They're just grandma bees. That's what they do. That's all they do. They just make honey. They make too much honey for them to even consume ever. So we can harvest some of their honey. We can live in a biosynthetic relationship with bees forever. And it's just one of those simple harmonies of life that we like to talk about. But that's what communication is about. And people fundamentally have communication issues. That's what I think the MGTOW movement focuses on, the communication issues that they perceive between the genders. I had a lovely conversation with a MGTOW movement member. They're just men. That's how they identify. If you understand how they identify, you know what they're trying to say about themselves. It's very simplistic. Men like to seem elegant, but it's very simplistic. They just draw the whole circle around what they say. They say everything is fact that I throw here. And it's like, that's how they communicate. They don't speak unless they want to be right. They never lie. And then they admit that men lie. Every time you explain yourself, they expand the field goals. It's not really moving the field goals. It's physically expanding the information sphere allowable in the conversation. So the dialogue is allowed to be dictated by men. We dictate dialogue as men. That's just true. That's facts. You can look it up. Because we dictate dialogue. We do it for dominance. Everyone does it. Everyone's supposed to do it. You're supposed to dictate the dialogue sometimes when you have an orientation on what you need to go. See, I have it physically in my head as calculus, understanding the differences between information structures. So I'm re-upping on chemistry, so I understand how the math works about lowering potential energy. And, it forms information spheres. It forms a communication network, a language, a general language of the universe. That's what chemistry is. It's the language of the universe. Lithium means this. Phosphorus means this. Hydrochloric acid in the environment means this. That's what it means for an insect to be able to detect your rotten flesh. As soon as you die, insects appear like, ooh, I saw all the smells in the environment, and they told me that this carcass was here. They can see smell. They're impacted by physical molecules at that size. That's basically how they interact with the environment. They don't have to even eat it. Eating is a advanced form of smelling. If you really want to know the truth about it, when you integrate all of your senses, eating is an advanced form of smelling. That's why taste and smell are so linked into each other. And that's what I got from the MGTOW movement. I don't really care what other people are talking about. Like, I write it down, I note it, and then I brush it to the side. That's a man going his own way. That's what I do. That's just your mentality. And so I understood the YouTube comment to mean that that's just the mentality mindset. But it's a movement. It's a movement, and I don't trust movements. I'm a man going my own way. Like, I like pussy. I don't like angering women. I strengthen myself through empathy. Because vulnerability is to see how much you can take. If you're vulnerable and they do something good with you, then that's okay. It's okay if they lie a little bit about it. But, we're all mammals. Like, we're all one living organism. We're all a living organism that just replicates into itself. That's what the Earth is, a massive living organism, a massive biosphere. Earth has a conscious network on top of it that's cumulative in the biosphere of available solar energy that's just recycled into a living space. And plants know this, animals know this, I know this. That's just basic for sapio, like a homo trisapien. If you want a sapiosexual movement, you have to consider yourself a homo trisapien. You have to reclassify yourself because you've reclassified your identity. You're a new species in the environment. Every species relates to every other species through identity. So when bees sting you, it's like they registered a threat, pal. I'm sorry. They're supposed to be able to register you as not a threat because a bee would give its life to protect the colony. If you're willing to give your life to protect the colony, that's an identity that everyone respects. Everyone respects bees. They just let them go on about their business. You could say that bees got their identity adapted from wasp identity because wasps are more aggressive. Wasps are predators. They're carnivores. Sometimes they do the wrong thing and sting someone that's just near their territory. But I play with wasps too. I understand bees and wasps. I understand the language between different sort of species integrations. That's what Pokemon is. That's what life is. When you understand species as identity, you understand meme theory, you understand all of this. You understand everything I'm talking about. I am a bioterrorist, a conduit, like Infamous 2.